Well, hello. Welcome to the Great North American Stampin' Show, Season 7. I don't even know what episode this is. 7? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, you were at Stampin' Shine with Julie Salva. I am Julie Salva, and big congratulations to Lisa Bowden. Lisa's project last week won. It was super popular, and I'm so proud of her. So well done, Lisa. Lauren was coming up a close second, though, and then Jody and I, but it's a good one. This is what I love. All of the projects are so good. I mean, I just think it's better and better and better. But let's talk about tonight's project. So, our challenge was from page 23 of the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog, and I'm going to teach you about focal points and fun folds. So, are you ready? Do you want to see the card? Do you want to see it? Boom. Focal points and fun folds. Let's go. Okay, so I told you that our challenge on this week's episode of the Great North American Stampin' Show is a layout from page 23 of the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. Side note, if you don't have a mini catalog, reach out to me if you're not working with a demonstrator, and I'm happy to send you one. But this is the thing that I want to show you guys. We can look at all these layouts and they're super cute, but I want to teach you one important thing today, and that is focal point. Focal point. Where does your eye go? Here, I'll bet it goes there. On this card, I'll bet it goes to that flower. On this card, I'll bet it goes to this, right? On this, those words. Now on this one, this is different. Your focal point is the DSP, right? So one great lesson before we start our card here is this. When you have a strong central focal point, listen to me teaching. When you have a strong central focal point, you want your background to not compete with that. And you can see how each one of these is a little bit more subtle and it doesn't compete so much. This one, this background, this DSP is stunning. It needs to carry the heavy lifting, okay? But we're gonna focus on making a strong focal point for a card. So let's go. I'm also gonna do a fun fold with you. So I have cut a piece of Shy Shamrock. This is a color I just have not used much, but I've cut it to 4 1/4 by 11. And now I am going to score. Now I need to tell you, I was a guest speaker at a demo meeting last night, and one of the demonstrators, Dawn Tuck is her name, demonstrated this fold. And so I took frantic notes so I could teach it to you guys today. So I'm going to score it 2 1/2, 4. I don't even know what it's called, but it's called Amazing. That's what it's called. 5 1/2. These are easy scores, but there are a few of them. 7 and 8 1/2. Okay? So again, 2 1/2, 4, 5 1/2, 7, 8 1/2. Now some of you might be like, oh, I know that fold. I know that fold, Salva. So let's talk about it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to fold your card in half and take your bone folder. We got a bone fold, okay? And then we're going to fold mountain, valley, okay? See again, mountain, valley. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back side. And you guys are like, I know that fold, Julie Salva. Look what we're going to do. We're doing this card here. It's going to be amazing, right? It's a fun fold, so it lays flat like this in an envelope, but then it's going to pop up, and you're going to be able to sit it on your desk or whatever. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves, okay? So let's first of all get some maps going here. So I have already pre-cut some pieces of the Easter Joy. Oh, it's so cute. Designer series paper. So cute. In fact, let me show you this paper, because if you're sitting at home right now and you're like, oh, what am I going to do for Easter paper? Probably are doing that right this second. I've got you covered. So we've got this, and I'm gonna show you all the pieces. Look how cute. Now there's a sheen on this paper, okay? So it's a very heavy, sturdy paper on the A side. The B side is your regular designer series paper feel, okay? This, you can kind of hear it, right? So it's very pretty though. This is the side that we're actually using today. Now look at these. You have these cute little mats here that are going to do an image for you. Love that background. This would be a great background if you were using this stamp set, which you're going to see in just a minute, for a baby card, like a baby boy card. Pretty flowers, very, very subtle rabbits. And there we go. So amazing paper. And I'm going to tell you what, I highly anticipate this paper and this stamp bundle, which I'm going to show you now, to sell out. I really do. So the Easter basket bundle, there's your basket. This little piece right here, you can actually weave strips in through this basket to make it look woven. Really great. So you can see a lot of the stamps match the dies. So again, I think it's going to sell out. And if you want to take advantage of free shipping, I highly encourage you to consider this by Friday. Okay, so let's go on and get our mats together. So I have cut down the mat here to 2 3/8. Not this one, no. This one is 1 3/8, and I'll put all of these dimensions in the description here. Okay, so this is 1 3/8 by 4 1/8, and it's just basic white. Okay, I don't know what that little piece is right there. And then I cut the Designer Series paper down to 1 1/4 by 4. Now, if you're sitting here right now, you're like, an 1/8, we got to do 8s. I would highly encourage you to say our poem that if you're frequent to the Stampin' Shine with Julie Salva videos, you know, and that poem is 2 4 6 8. Fill in the blank, guys. I can cut and score by 8s. Absolutely. 2 4 6 8. I can cut and score by 8s. So I want you to notice when I introduced this, I said you don't want your background to distract from the focal point. And this is the background. So you can see the paper I've chosen would be considered the B-side paper. It is very subtle, right? Very subtle. And something that that is not going to take away from our focal point. Now you might be saying, Salva, what is the focal point? You haven't showed me. That's right, because I want you to hang around so you can see it. Okay? This I'm going to have to trim down. So we'll set that aside for a minute. Okay, focal point. Focal point. So I talked to you about the dies. Our focal point is going to be the Easter basket die. And I've already die cut it for you. Now I'm not weaving the little threads through here, although I could, but just for the sake of time. This is going to be our focal point. And it's going to adhere right here. How do we do that? We just put a bunch of glue right there on the center? What do? We do not. What we do is we take, and this is the trick, and I wanted you guys to see this so that you would know. Okay, we have cut down, let me make sure I have the right one. Yeah, we have cut down a strip of white, but you could do whatever you want, to a 1/2 inch. Okay, cut it down to a 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to go in, and this is where it's really great to work on this side. I'm going to score this at a 1/2 inch. So it's a 1/2 inch wide. I've scored it 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to cut at 1 inch. Okay. So this is going to give me this little tab here. Little 1 inch by 1/2 inch tab scored at 1/2 inch. Let me go on and do another one. Okay. So again, scoring at 1/2 inch. I've already trimmed it down to a 1/2 inch wide. And then cutting at 1 inch. Okay. So these are going to make some little tabs that are going to hold that basket in place. Now I'm going to fold this. Ideally, I would have actually adhered this underneath here, but I think I can kind of squeeze it in at a part that maybe doesn't, there we go, see? Part that doesn't have adhesive there. I want it to be lower because my basket is going to need to be adhered right about here, okay? So let me go on and put a little bit of my nemesis right here. Just a little bit. I am learning with green glue. It does work. I'm going to give it credit, okay? It does work. And it works well, but it does make a mess. I have a little silicone finger there. I'm going to wipe that extra glue off. I will not have sticky fingers, okay? All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here, hoping against hope that it works, and it does. Okay, so did I have to adhere them under here? No, I could have put it right there, but this is going to be far more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put some adhesive here and here, and we're going to let it dry because honestly I put it down there too quick. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to set this aside for a minute because I don't want to just put, even though the basket is my focal point, I don't want to just put an empty basket on here. That would be blah. So this stamp set has a fantastic stamp that stamps 3 flowers at a time, and it has a die cut that cuts it all out. So I have actually gone ahead and done 2.5 of these. And I'm going to put these flowers in my basket. I'm not making an Easter basket right now. I'm making a spring basket. Because if you're looking at this set and you're like, oh, that's just for Easter. Easter's just, it comes and goes. No, it's not just for Easter. You can use it for spring. You could use it for birthday. My friend Pam had a great idea that it would be, take a look at this, be fantastic for baby cards with those little rabbits there, or the little chick. So, I mean, and even the for you, so that's any time. So this actually is a pretty versatile set, and I encourage you to give it a look. So I want you to see this. So I've told you, I really only did like 2.5. So let me finish this one. I'm using my Pretty and Pink blends, and this is the light blend. And I know you're like, is that the same color as the other flower that you did? It is. And I think the thing that is fun is how the blends kind of seep into the fibers and stuff. Now, I will say I may have used the dark on that other flower. I may have, I'm not sure. I was just coloring. Let's see. But it's okay, because I'm going to accent it. Yeah, I used the dark. So the cool thing about the blends is that they come in they come in a dual set. So you're going to get a light and a dark. And I'm going to take Lemon Lolly and put it right in the center there. And then again, Shy Shamrock. That's the same color as my cardstock and the same color that's my accent in my Designer Series paper. And if you're new, you might be like, Julie, what is Designer Series paper? It's just pretty paper. Designer Series paper is a way that we can have a very fancy name to it, but it's pretty paper. Then I'm going to just lay my die right over my flowers here, kind of line it up. And then you guys know this is my very favorite thing right here, and I'll put a link to that as well. This is my Post-it note tape. That's what it looks like. And it holds that die down. I know some of you use washi tape, and that's great too. I just really like this Post-it note tape. So normally, you know, I don't die cut here, but I wanted you to see it. So I'm using my mini cut and emboss. I keep this on my desk when I don't want to get up and walk over the 4 feet to my big Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So I'll just run this through. I do it quietly. There we go. And such an exhilarating feeling when I cut it out, and I cut it out great. I'm telling you, cut it out great. So let's y'all, where did I put the basket? Where did I put the oh, here it is. Sorry about that. Let's go on and put that down. And I'm just putting some adhesive down here because it's gonna, the flowers are gonna pop out. Okay. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's just fun. Now it does need a little something. So I have gone ahead and die cut this ribbon, this bow, and this is also a die that comes in the bundle. And put that bow right there. Could I have used a different color bow? Yes. Could I have done it for contrast? Yes. But again, okay, I don't want anything to take away from the main point here. So let me kind of refresh our glue right here. Isn't this an easy fold though? I mean, it gives you a big bang for your buck. And you're just gonna fold down and press so my glue holds onto that basket. And look at there. Look at there. It's magic. And I know you're like, Salma, what are we going to do about this section over here? Not to worry. I have a plan. So what you're going to do, and I'll go on and use the green glue again just to make my green glue people happy. You're going to adhere these two sections here, these 2.5 inch sections. And I actually, the green glue is good for this because it does give you a minute to kind of play around with it if you don't get it even. Oh my gosh, this is coming along so cute. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Okay, now what I did next is I cut a little place. This was an idea that Dawn had, and I thought it was a fantastic idea. She cut a piece of basic white, so you could write a great little sentiment here, little note. She cut that down to 4 inches by 2 3/8. 4 inches by 2 3/8. And that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to trim this piece down just a little bit. So if this was 4 inches, I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4. Like, Salva, you have adhesive on it already. I know, I'll fix it. Okay, this is gonna go right here. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Now, I do want a little sentiment. I do want that. So, there's a sentiment that says, Hello Spring. I'm going to stamp that on just a really narrow scrap. And Hello Spring. Gentle touch. This is a fragile stamp. And by fragile, I mean it's tiny, okay? So if you push too hard, it's going to blob on you. In fact, I feel like it kind of blobbed a little bit anyway, and that doesn't make me happy. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. You guys see the difference? That's the one that I think blobbed. That's the one that's perfect. And I'm going to use the banner punch. It may be back in stock. I'm not sure. But if you like this punch, it's a great punch. It has 3 banners on it. Go into the website and you can actually have an email sent to you when it comes back in stock. So you'd be ready to go. I'll take a couple dimensionals. And we're almost done, guys. I'm going to take those dimensionals and pop that little sentiment up. Ta-da. And 2. Look at us. We have done a fun fold. We have learned artistic strategy about focal points. Oh, this is so cute. And now for the final little springtime tip. I am going to take some gems that I have, but I want to show you something about some gems that you could use if you were making Easter cards, okay? Look at these. These little gems here are Easter eggs, little plaid Easter eggs. Oh my gosh, how cute. Then you have the blue and you have the yellow. So I love those. But I'm going to use just white for this. And these are actually, what are these called? Pearls of Beauty. So I'm going to take some white. I'm going to go 1. There's 2 sizes of these. Remember my little triangle rule, right? Put that there. And there we go. What do you think? All right, so what do you think? Focal point. You want it to get all the attention, right? You don't want anything else distracting from it. And the fun fold, isn't that great? I love it. And I love this little tip that I learned about making a little note place to write something sweet. So you know the drill. You watch my video, you find the links to the other videos in the comments below. You vote for the one that you like the best by clicking thumbs up. And if you really enjoy the Great American Stampin' Show, which of course you do, be sure to subscribe and share. All of us are on YouTube with videos all throughout the week. This is not our only time, so you would want to make sure that you're there. Side note, if you love Stampin' Up products, free shipping through tomorrow. My shopping link is in the description below, and the other demonstrators have their links as well. So shop with the demonstrator who brung ya. Like, you know, dance with the one who brung you. I gotta go. You guys were great. I'll see you next week on the Great North American Stampin' Show. Bye-bye.